Hey, good afternoon. This is Clay with Clay's AC and Auto Repair and Clay Motion here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you find this video helpful, send me nice comments, like my video, but most of all, subscribe and share. If you want to help me out a little bit more, turn the volume down on your computer so you don't have to listen to me yammer. Let my videos just play. And remember, if anybody else can do it, you can do it too. So I'm going to try not to make this video as short as possible, but I think it's going to end up being lengthy. We're going to work on a 2006 Honda CRV, which is going to be very comparable to your 2002, 2003, you know, etc., Honda CRVs, I believe, up until 2008. It's got a 2.4 VTEC in it. We're going to pull the subframe down. You're going to probably do this with jack stands or two jacks in your driveway. Luckily for me, I'm blessed enough to have a lift, so we're going to be able to raise it up and put it on some tripods, lower the subframe down a little bit to get the AC compressor out, which is seized up, and put a new one in for this gentleman. First off, we're going to start by disconnecting the battery or evacuating the AC system. In my situation, the AC system is already evacuated. Then I'm also going to show you how to fill the AC system. Then we remove the inner fender liners and the lower carriage liner there, and eventually we're going to end up pulling out the bolts that hold up the subframe there, and we're going to remove the 4 bolts that hold the AC compressor on and the AC lines, etc., etc. All we're going to do is lower down the subframe a little bit. We're going to also end up removing the motor mount bolt that's in the center of there, just so that gives us enough room to be able to pluck that little bugger out of there and put it back in. Don't be the next to them, be the first to you. I'll show you how. So I removed my motor mount bolt. It was an 18mm bolt. I used a 6mm with an extension and a wobble on there, but I think you can get it with like 9-inch extension and a 3/8 drive, or even, you know, a deep well conventional tool. So I want you guys to consider watching the complete video, because I'm going to show you some tips and tricks, what I usually call magician type stuff. But anyways, I generally show you how to use the tools and talk about depths and stuff that's particular I spend time on. Stuff that's just removing bolts, I don't. But I'm going to remove the subframe bolts now, and the reason that I'm going to do that is because it's easier to access the bottom bolts of the AC compressor, and I have not taken the lines off the AC compressor because I believe once it's loose, it'll be easier for me to do that. And with the subframe a little bit out of my way, it's going to make that simpler as well. So I'm going to take the front bolts completely out and just loosen up the rear bolts and drop them down, you know, as far as I can, with having still 4 or 5 threads in there. And because it's supported by the jack, I don't have to worry about them coming all the way out. I'm going to take them all the way out and then screw them up in there a little bit. And then we'll be able to drop the subframe down, which is going to allow me to be able to get to the 2 bolts that hold the bottom on there easier with my wobble. I'm going to also point out that I'm using air tools. I highly recommend you use air or electric. It's going to make this job simpler, especially if you're crawling around on your back in the ground in your driveway. I recommend it. All the subframe bolts were 18mm, by the way. One thing I forgot to mention, the tensioner is a 14mm. I used one of these long gear wrenches for that to get mine off. Sorry, I wish I could give you some ideas on how to get that off with something conventional. Okay, so I took out my driver's side upper bolt with an extension and the wobble like I showed you earlier right there, and my impact. Now on the inner bolt, I'm trying to take it out with a 1/4-inch drive, 12mm. I probably should have took this bolt out first, or before I took the one out on the driver's side. I should have took the passenger side out. It would be simply easier to remove that reservoir tank right there, and I may end up doing that here in a couple moments, but I'm going to give it the old try. But you're probably not going to have a flex head ratchet like mine, so I'd recommend taking out that coolant reservoir, and if I do that, I'll show you. Yeah, I'm just going to remove the coolant reservoir, and we do that by taking up the tops of these. You can use a little screwdriver, or if you have like long unmanicured hands like mine, manly hands, you can pop most of them up by hand, but flathead screwdriver. Now once you got that shielding off, you can take a 10mm and remove that bolt right there, or So now with the reservoir in this position right here, we can proceed to go back down to the bottom and get our last bolt out. Okay, with the compressor lowered down and out of the way, I'm able to take my 10mm with my ratchet and come from this side, and I am taking off the line that is closer to the driver's side. Okay, so we couldn't get the 10mm loose on the passenger side part of the compressor, so we're very upset that Anthony Michael Hall or Kip Winger aren't here, because none of this would have ever happened. So what we did was we removed 2 of the bolts that hold the bracketing bolts that hold this line down, and we're going to be able to pull the compressor down once we undo these lines with these super-sized channel locks here, crescent wrenches, I mean. Could take this opportunity to replace the yeah, that thing. Orifice tube. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And Jeff doesn't even know how to work on air conditioners.
You're the AC guy and you don't even know it?
I know. I'm just upset because I was thinking Kip Winger was going to be here today, and he's not. And then Anthony Michael Hall, he's off making weird science movies or something. So now we got that off, so we're going to lower it down, bring it back up, and hopefully we can get it all the way out. So we pulled it down so our compressor was out here, and we were able to just hit it with the 10mm impact at that time. Now we cut our wires down by the base of it because our new AC compressor actually comes with the wiring harness. We're going to make sure that we dielectric our lines before putting them on, make sure our O-rings are all changed at the tips. So we'll replace all of these, make sure we put dielectric in there. If you don't have new O-rings, just seal some dielectric on there. It'll seal up, I'm quite certain. Then we'll show you how to finish it up. Okay, so we're just buttoning up the end of this. We're backing it down now. If the video was helpful, please send me nice comments. Like my video. Most of all, though, subscribe and share. Remember, don't be the next to them, be the first to you. And if anybody else can do it, you can do it too. If you want to reach out to me on Facebook under Clay's AC and Auto Repair, you can do that. If you want to help me out even more, turn the volume down on your computer and let my videos play, and then you don't have to listen to me yammer. This took us a good part of half the day to do. This is not a fun job. I'm excited. We got it in, we got it done. The new Chinese AC compressor we put in, the plug wasn't fitting exactly correctly, so we ended up cutting that up, shrink wrapping it, and butt connecting it together. So that was about the only thing that we had. We ended up not being able to move the tensioner so well, but that might have been because I may have moved it the wrong way. But anyways, hopefully the video is helpful. I want you to have a great day. God bless. Thank you much for viewing.